In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Our Lady La Conquistadora, St. Francis and St. Anthony. So today, on this feast, we celebrate the Virgin of Guadalupe, who is the patroness of New Spain, of which we are a part. It's a time of rejoicing as we remember the apparition of Our Lady to St. Juan Diego outside of Mexico City, and the great influence that had. Before the apparition of Our Lady, the Spanish friars, the Franciscans, who had been trying to evangelize the Indians, were not being very successful. And so, though there were a few converts, like Juan Diego, but in any case, there wasn't a large number of converts. They were still holding on to the Aztec religion. However, when Our Lady appeared, everything started to change. You know the story of how she appeared on the mountain of the hill of Tepeyac, which had been the place of a temple, Aztec temple before. She appeared to Juan Diego and told him to speak to the bishop of Mexico City. That bishop was a Franciscan who had been sent from Spain to become the bishop of Mexico City. And it's interesting, the Franciscans have a great connection with the history of Mexico and New Spain in general, the great amount of work they did for the conversion of souls. So she appeared to Juan Diego, and Juan Diego was skeptical about the idea of talking to the bishop of Mexico. The bishop had no idea who he was, and he obviously didn't think that the bishop would believe him. Our Lady gave him a sign and told him to pick roses, which were there as a proof that the apparition was real. Now, this was December, and roses don't bloom in Mexico, and they're Spanish roses anyway, but don't bloom at that time of year. So the roses were there. He took his tilma, which was a kind of garment, which he wore over, sort of like this a bit, and put the roses in the garment, covered them up, and then took him to the bishop of Mexico City. And so when he goes to see the bishop, he tells the bishop about how Our Lady has appeared to him and asked that a temple or church be built, a chapel, in her honor. And so he said that he had proof that Our Lady really was the one who appeared to him. And so when he opened up the tilma to let out the flowers, which fell on the ground, the roses, what was there also was the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And that image is a miraculous image. It's still in existence, even though it's over 500 years old. And the garment it was on was only meant to last about 20 minutes of kind of a plant sewn into a garment. But it's still there and has resisted the attempts of the unbelievers to destroy it, in fact. But in this apparition, we saw Our Lady coming to evangelize the Americas. And so after the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe, within 10 years, 9 million Aztecs or 9 million Indians converted to the Catholic religion because of the apparition of Our Lady. So the friars, as I said, had converted some people, but nothing like what Our Lady did, because Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared as an Aztec princess in her clothes, and the imagery of Our Lady of Guadalupe told the Indians things about her position. She was a maiden, as a virgin, and so her little sash she's wearing proclaims that, but yet she's also a child, which is also in the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Indicates the Indians saw that as a little explanation of who she was, and then converted to the faith. And already by the time of the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, she had become very famous throughout the realms of Spain, because on the ship that the commander, Don Juan of Austria, sailed, as a brother of King of Spain, against the Muslims, that image was there. The copy of the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe was on the ship of Don Juan of Austria as she fought against the Muslims, and of course won against the Muslims. We see Our Lady of Guadalupe also then as the foundress, in a real way, more than Cortez, of New Spain, because she converted the Indians, but not only that, because she took upon herself the title of Our Lady of Guadalupe, there was a connection to Spain as well. She sort of blended the two, Our Lady did. She was to be the queen both of the Spanish, who came from Spain, and of the Indians who were already here. It's interesting because if you study the history of Guadalupe, that is the Guadalupe sanctuary in Spain, there's an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Spain. There are two important facts to remember. One, Cortez, who was the Spanish commander who conquered Mexico for Spain, before he left Spain to come to the New World, he stopped at the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Spain and asked for her help. So that's the first interesting connection between Our Lady of Guadalupe in here and in Spain, I mean. So Cortez went to the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, then came over here, and of course, Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared here to the Indians. The second one is Bishop Zumarraga, who was the Franciscan bishop of Mexico City. Before he became a Franciscan, well, I should say right when he became a Franciscan, he did his novitiate, where? At the sanctuary of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Spain. So he also had a connection to Guadalupe in Spain. So when he came over here, of course, her apparition would have struck him very forcefully, as it would have done Cortez as well, because Our Lady of Guadalupe in Spain had been devoted to. And so Our Lady of Guadalupe brings the two together, the Spanish and the Indians. And of course, in the Empire of Spain here, in New Spain as it's called, Our Lady showed herself queen of both the Spanish and the Indians. And the third group of people who appeared, that is, when the Spanish married the Indians, you have the mestizos, those who are sort of mixed, both Indian and Spanish, who hold her as their queen, and as a way of cementing the Spanish and the Indians together by this great group of people who were descended from both of them. As I said, the Pope proclaimed her the queen of all of New Spain in the 1700s, and from there Pius X made her Empress of the Americas during his pontificate at the beginning of the 20th century. Though it's sad in a way, because though she's Empress of the Americas, in the United States, the bishops never really took to her. She never had a feast for all of the United States, up until after Vatican II in the case. It was only in those dioceses who had a large Spanish population. There she was celebrated as a patroness of Spanish Spain, but not of the United States, curiously enough. Not a good sign, really. But the Pope proclaimed her Queen of the Americas, or Empress of the Americas, which is both North and South America, and not just part of North America. So today, let us ask her intercession that she would rule this country as Queen, that she would convert, as she did the Indians of Mexico, she would convert the people here to the Catholic religion, and so a new Catholic culture would come from her intercession. Let us ask her especially that she would defend those who are defenseless, those who are unborn. She's been made the patroness of, as she's with child in that image, that she would bring an end to the crime of abortion, but also, more importantly, she would convert the United States into a Catholic nation in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.